We are diving headfirst into a really fascinating one. The world of no guns life.
Yeah, it's definitely memorable. You can't really talk about it without starting with the main guy, Juzo Inui.
Oh, absolutely. He's your classic hard-boiled PI, cynical, smokes constantly, walks the mean streets.
Right, total tech-noir vibe.
Exactly. But his head is a giant working revolver.
Which is, it's such an arresting image, isn't it? Kind of absurd, but it tells you everything up front.
It really does. It immediately signals this world is all about extreme body modification, extreme tech.
So we're in this near-future post-war city. Cybernetics, called extensions here, are everywhere. And the people with them, they're the extended.
And Juzo himself, he's what they call an overextended. Basically a former military super soldier designed as a weapon. It's the perfect visual for someone reduced to their function.
And that really sets up our mission for this deep dive, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. We're going to look at how No Guns Life uses these wild sci-fi ideas, the gun head, the way the tech creates dependency, even remote mind control, to explore those classic cyberpunk themes. Autonomy, identity, what it means to be human when corporations seem to own everything, even your body.
Precisely. And it all kicks off when Juzo, who's also an amnesiac, by the way.
Oh, right. Adds another layer.
Yeah, he gets pilled into protecting this kid, Tetsurō Arahabaki.
And Tetsurō isn't just any kid. He's the son of the CEO of the Berühren Corporation.
The big one. Berühren is everything in this world. They monopolize the extension tech.
And the kid, Tetsurō, he has this power, harmony, that lets him control other extended.
Exactly. He can basically hijack their bodies and subminds. It's the ultimate control tool.
So Juzo, this symbol of rugged, if altered, independence, is immediately tangled up with the son of the enemy corporation.
Who also happens to possess the power to completely strip him of his own agency. Talk about conflict from page 1. Okay. Let's dig into that power structure first, because this world, it feels like the government barely exists.
Oh, it's classic cyberpunk dystopia in that sense. Berühren isn't just a big company, it's what you'd call a zaibatsu.
Like those massive, almost nation-state corporations from early cyberpunk.
Exactly like that. A monolithic entity whose power just dwarfs the actual state. You see it with groups like the Reconstruction Agency or the EMS.
The Emergency Medical Service.
Yeah, they're basically the official bodies trying to, manage the extended population in the post-war chaos.
But they're completely outgunned, right? Or, out-resourced by Berühren.
Totally. The proof is right there. The EMS needs specialized gear to handle problematic extended, like these things called corsets.
Specialized straitjackets, basically.
Right. To suppress the extended subbrain. And who do they have to buy them from?
Let me guess. Berühren.
You got it. The state is literally dependent on the corporation for the tools to police the population that the corporation's tech created.
Wow. So Berühren has effectively privatized social control.
That's a great way to put it. They don't just have influence, they hold the actual levers of order.
And this whole system creates this sort of post-war underclass, the extended themselves.
Yeah, the tech was built for war, turned soldiers into better weapons. But after the war, these veterans are left altered, often marginalized, unable to just slot back into society.
They become this disposable group.
Absolutely. And you see clear class divisions based on access to the tech. If you're wealthy, you get the good stuff, legal, high-quality extensions.
And if you're not,
you end up in places like the QC pit. The black market. Dangerous, unregulated repairs and modifications because the official channels are too expensive or just don't serve you.
Okay, but here's the really insidious part. The core of Berühren's control. It's this manufactured dependency, isn't it?
Yes, this is the aha moment. It's how they maintain power without just using brute force all the time.
So, but how does it work?
Well, the extensions themselves, they're flawed. They cause chronic nerve pain, serious physical strain. It's inherent to the technology.
So the tech that's supposed to enhance you also cripples you.
Precisely. It creates a new, ongoing medical need. And guess who positions themselves as the sole provider of the relief?
Berühren again, selling the cure for the problem they created.
Exactly. They sell this specially formulated addictive medication that eases the pain.
And it's not like it's just medical treatment. It's packaged as a consumer product.
Right. That's key. For Juzo, it's his specific brand of cigarettes, Kanagashima. His pain relief is literally a branded consumable good.
So they turn biological necessity into profit and control.
Absolutely. Dependency becomes a lifestyle choice, something you buy, and they can leverage that.
Like when Hugh Cunningham, Berühren's security chief, tries to lean on Juzo.
Perfect example. He doesn't just offer money or threats. He tries to corner the market on Tanegashima cigarettes in the city.
Buying up Juzo's medicine supply.
He weaponizes Juzo's addiction, his physical pain, to try and control him. It's brutal.
It's a chilling parallel to real-world stuff, like pharmaceutical pricing or control over essential resources.
Definitely. When your basic well-being, your freedom from agony, is basically a subscription service owned by one corporation, how much freedom do you really have?
Of course, this kind of oppression breeds resistance. We see groups like Spitsbergen.
Right, the anti-extended terrorists.
Yeah.
Their whole ideology is that augmentation is unnatural, an affront against God.
But there's a big irony there, isn't there, with their leader?
Oh, yeah. Dr. Andy Wachowski. He was actually one of the original scientists who developed extension technology. Now he's horrified by what he helped unleash.
And even though they're anti-tech philosophically.
They still use extended operatives. They still use violence. It shows how pervasive the tech is. You almost can't fight the system without using its own tools.
Okay, so if the whole economy is built on controlling the body, let's zoom in on Juzo. How does he grapple with his own identity, being literally a walking weapon?
Juzo is the existential crisis, personified. He's device, #13, a gun sleeve unit, no memory of his past.
So he has to build his identity from scratch, basically.
Completely. All he has is the present, his actions, his code as a revolver. He's constantly fighting that question. Is he a person or just the gun he was made to be? It's very Philip K. Dick, that struggle with constructed identity.
And the most powerful symbol of that struggle is the trigger on the back of his head.
Right. He can't fire his main weapon himself. Someone else has to pull that trigger.
Which could just be a limitation, but he turns it into something else.
He totally transforms it. It becomes this profound symbol of consent. He is incredibly strict about who he allows to touch it.
Only people he truly trusts.
Exactly. By insisting on that trust, that permission, he reclaims agency over his function. He's saying, I might be a weapon, but I choose who wields me. It's an act of self-determination against his design.
But let me push back on that a little. I mean, it is still a gun. The act of consent still leads to firing a weapon, to violence. Doesn't that complicate the idea of consent here? Make it darker?
Oh, absolutely it does. And the show doesn't shy away from that. His consent isn't about achieving peace. It's about controlling the application of his inherent violence according to his own morals.
So he can't not be a gun.
But he can choose the terms. He chooses the wielder, the context. It forces you, the viewer, and him to grapple with agency in a world saturated with violence. It's less about escaping it, more about directing it ethically, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And then you contrast Juzo's struggle with Tetsuro's power, harmony.
Which is the polar opposite. It's pure violation. Remote control over someone else's mind and body. Technological tyranny.
But Tetsuo himself is also trapped, right?
Deeply ironic, isn't it? He has this immense power, but he's physically crippled. His father had his tendons cut, his vocal cords severed.
Made into this contained, seemingly harmless vessel for a terrifying weapon.
Exactly. A corporate tool designed solely to violate others.
So their relationship is where the core morality of the show plays out.
Definitely. When Tetsuo first uses harmony on Juzo, just out of panic.
Juzo's reaction is furious.
Understandably. And that forces Tetsuo to really confront what he's doing, the sheer immorality of stealing someone's will. It's a lesson he desperately needs, given his upbringing.
But they evolve past that, don't they?
They do, and that's crucial. Later, Juzo reaches a point of trust where he asks Tetsuo to use harmony, to act as his hands in a fight.
That feels like a big turning point.
It is. It completely subverts the lone wolf detective idea.
Yeah.
Real strength here isn't rugged independence. It's interdependence built on earned trust and mutual consent.
Let's quickly touch on the sub-brain concept, too. That seems important for identity.
Yeah, initially it seems like just the interface, the computer running the cybernetics, the driver's seat.
But it gets more complicated.
Much more. The show reveals it's volatile. Look at Victor Steinberg.
What happened with him?
His augmentation process went wrong, and it created a parallel subbrain.
Not just a backup.
No, like a completely separate, malevolent personality emerged within the tech. A dark twin focused on destruction.
Whoa, so the technology itself can literally fracture your consciousness or create a new one.
Exactly. The ghost in the machine can become horrifyingly real. It suggests that consciousness might not be this single unified thing we assume it is. Especially when you start merging deeply with complex tech, you could literally lose yourself to the machine.
Okay, stepping back a bit, the whole look and feel of No Guns Life is just pure tech-noir.
Oh, 100%. You've got the dark city, the constant rain, the shadows, Juzo's cynical narration. It hits all those classic noir buttons.
He's like Sam Spade or Philip Marlowe, but with, a gun for a head.
Yeah, the aesthetic fits perfectly with the themes of corruption and moral ambiguity. But the show does something really interesting with the typical hard-boiled PI archetype.
Which is usually about rugged individualism. Right, the lone wolf solving the case.
Exactly, that's the tradition. But Juzo can't be that.
Because of the trigger.
Because of the trigger. That core vulnerability, needing someone else he trusts to unlock his full potential, forces him into interdependence. He might be tough, but he's fundamentally reliant on others. It's a deliberate twist on the lone hero myth.
And on the corporate side of things, Berühren feels like a direct callback to William Gibson's work.
Absolutely. You think neuromancer, you think those all-powerful Zybatsis operating above nations, controlling finance, information.
Berühren feels like the next evolution of that.
Yeah, No Guns Life makes that corporate control much more visceral. Gibson's corporations control the flow of data, the economy. Berühren controls your actual body, your nerves, the medicine you need to stop screaming.
It makes the control personal, physiological.
Way more intimate and terrifying. Your flesh itself is the commodity they own and operate.
So, putting it all together, what's the show's overall take on technology, on transhumanism?
I think it serves as a really strong cautionary tale. The transhumanist dream is often about overcoming limitations, escaping pain, maybe even death, through technology.
It's becoming more than human.
Right. But No Guns Life shows the dark side of that. When the tech is controlled by an entity like Berühren, it doesn't lead to liberation. It leads to exploitation, new forms of suffering, and a deep kind of dehumanization.
The extensions don't elevate people. They trap them in pain and dependency.
Precisely. The show uses the physical consequences, Juzo's amnesia, the constant nerve pain, Victor's fractured mind as evidence. It argues that radically altering the body, especially under corporate control, risks destroying the very self the technology was meant to enhance. The price of that kind of transcendence is often identity itself.
It really is a powerful mix. It takes that classic cyberpunk corporate anxiety from Gibson,
mixes it with the what is human identity crisis you see in Philip K. Dick,
and wraps it all in that gritty, hard-boiled noir package. It feels both familiar and fresh.
And it's interesting how the series ends too, or rather how it doesn't really end cleanly.
Right, Berühren is still standing. The system isn't overthrown.
No grand revolution, which feels kind of realistic, unfortunately. It reflects how deeply entrenched these systems of power and technological dependency can be. Change isn't easy or quick.
But Juzo himself finds his own path, right? He defines himself through his choices, his code, despite his origins.
He does. He carves out meaning and a form of autonomy through willpower and trust.
But that leads us to the final thought, the question maybe the show leaves you chewing on.
Yeah. Juzo has immense willpower, a strong moral compass. But he's still physically dependent on Berühren's product just to function without agony.
So if your basic biological needs created by the system itself, are owned and sold back to you by the corporation oppressing you, how much does your individual willpower truly matter in the grand scheme?
How free can your choices really be when your very existence, your freedom from pain, relies on buying the antidote from your oppressor? That's the uncomfortable question. No Guns Life really forces you to consider.